Hello, my name is Lakshya, and today I'm going to show you my small room AC system. So basically, my goal was to simulate an AC inside a tiny room. But obviously my fan isn't that powerful, so it won't be able to cool it, but it's just still a proof of concept. Also, it should let the user send information using my app I made on App Inventor, which is shown here. And I want the user to see the send temperature on the left side of the display, and on the right side to see the current temperature. My design was for the user to send data through my App Inventor app, and then the Arduino shows the data sent and the sent temperature and the current temperature on this display, and then the fan spins according to the temperature. So if it's higher, then it will not spin, but if it's cooler, it will spin. My build was a 3D printed case. I used an Arduino motor, a motor controller, a display, a breadboard, and a temperature sensor along with a Bluetooth module. My dynamic parts were a fan blade. Okay. My program was, so I imported TM1637 display, timer 1, and DHT. My program receives data and uses if statements to determine if it should spin or not. I tested it about 35 times. Some of my software difficulties were casting, which basically is changing one type of data to another, and substringing, so that if a user were to send a 4 or 3-digit number over here, it would only take the first 2 numbers. My hardware difficulties were putting the parts into the case. Some possible changes I could do is changing the speed of the motor, since right now my motor is either only on or off, but I would like it to change its speed. And I would 3D print the case with PET instead of PLA, since I use PLA and over here there's a tiny crack. And I'll make my App Inventor app be more usable. So as you see here, the buttons aren't really that pretty. So here's my demo. So there's an iPad, and then I typed in my number. So basically, over here in this text box, I have to write the temperature I want it to be. So for example, I want it to be 74 degrees, or maybe 64. And then if I send it, as you see, over on this display, it will change this part to 64, and it will show the current temperature, which is determined using a tiny temperature sensor hidden in here, and the motor will start spinning since the temperature inputted is less than the actual temperature. So that's basically it.
Do you have any questions?
You?
How long does it take to cool from 75 degrees to 64 or
Well, it doesn't really change the temperature right now, because it doesn't really change the speeds, and this is only a 3-volt DC motor, so it doesn't really have that much power. You?
So, is the wind generated by the fan feelable?
What?
Is the wind generated by the fan? If you stand in front of it, could you feel it?
Barely, like, if you put your hand over here, only then you can feel it.
It looks like it's spinning at a very high speed.
Well, like, I think I made my fan design a bit inefficient.
Okay. And secondly, how long did it take you to make this project?
It took me about 4 classes.